In March of 2020, the DC Policy Center surveyed the region's nonprofit organizations to study the scope of the COVID-19 pandemic's effect on their work. Respondents said they saw a greater need for services but had fewer means to meet them. They also worried about the long-term financial impact of that increase in services. We have two more organizations that we're speaking with today. Sienna Marcellin is the Special Events Associate of So Others Might Eat, or SOME, and Anne Marie Bensner is the Executive Director of Court-Appointed Special Advocates, or CASA, of Prince George's County. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
As Rob just told us, the foster care system stirs up unique challenges in any given year, and that certainly was quite evident during the pandemic. CASA of Prince George's County partners with juvenile courts to help victims of abuse and neglect. Let's take a moment to find out what CASA stands for and what its volunteers have been up to.
The most important thing for people to know is that foster youth have experienced multiple forms of trauma which can lead to lifetime impacts. But CASA can help to put them on a path to a more productive and positive future. Court-Appointed Special Advocate, CASA of Prince George's County, was founded to address the unmet needs of youth in foster care. We train and supervise volunteers from the community who advocate for the best interest of children. Every child deserves a qualified, caring adult to support them and help them thrive. To change a child's story, visit pgcasa.org.
Anne Marie, according to the CDC, public health emergencies increase the risk of child abuse because of heightened stress, school closures, loss of income, and social isolation. How did your organization tackle all of that?
So in the very beginning, when we first learned that we would be closing down and having to change everything that we did, we honestly had to take a moment and think through how we could possibly rearrange all of the in-person visits that our volunteer advocates did with the children and their families, how we were arranging for visitation between family members and sibling visits, as well as all the services that our children normally receive in the community. And it was quite overwhelming. And we had about a minute to think that through. And then we realized that we had technology available to us, and we were able to find support in the community to pay for our young people and their biological families to use that technology as well. We supported cell phone bills for about 6 months to make sure that our children and their families could communicate through video chat so that they could see each other even when they couldn't visit in person. I think it is amazing to think about children could not see their mothers or their fathers in person for quite a few months, and how that could impact a young person without any real understanding of the reasons why. And so our volunteers were able to bridge that gap. They used every thing that they could think of in terms of FaceTime and Google Chats and Google Classroom and Zoom and whiteboards to play games with the children online to make sure that they had someone who checked in with them on a regular basis. Normally, we ask our volunteers to do that twice per month. In the first months of the pandemic, we asked them to do it weekly, just to make sure that someone had eyes on the children, and to make sure that just the very basic things that they needed were able to be provided. Over time, we were able to, settle into that routine of checking in on our children, communicating with the Department of Social Services, as well as the court systems, to become really flexible and creative around visitation, outdoor visitation. We provided masks to families and volunteers, just to make sure that they could see each other in the safest way possible, and so that no one, unnecessarily became ill, volunteers, staff, children, families.
Oh, wow. It sounds like you guys really, really stepped up and made sure that they did not feel isolated and that they still felt that support, that much needed support. Awesome. Awesome. Now, CASA also helps teens and young adults between the age of 14 and 21 to connect with jobs and prepare for interviews. Were there enough job interviews to go around for you to continue doing that part of the program?
So we did continue that program, and we actually went from a pilot to a full-time project during the pandemic.
Wow.
We realized that our children needed more supports. They needed to have someone who could help them with resumes and interview and job prep. We also needed to have a full-time staff person who could check in with both the older youth and their volunteers around the opportunities that were starting to become more frequent come September. It took the job readiness programs a little bit of time to also change and to offer their services online, but it was an opportunity for our young people to take advantage of the job readiness training programs that are available in the community that were now virtual. Our young people were competing with everyone else for jobs, especially the frontline work. Not all of them were prepared to do that work, and not all of them were chosen, over all of the other people who were also seeking employment.
Yes.
And so what our CASA volunteers were able to do was to provide grocery cards on a monthly basis to help support our youth who were not working and didn't have the supplemental income to get them through the pandemic. We are still offering that support on a monthly basis, and will continue to do so through the end of the year.
Wonderful. Oh, that is fantastic. All right. Now, switching gears now, just by the title alone, we might assume that your organization, So Others Might Eat, only provides nutritional services. But Sienna, you also offer services for seniors who were some of the most vulnerable during the pandemic. How did the community center and emergency housing program function, if at all?
So, to start, So Others Might Eat does way more than just feeding people who may need it. We have a ton of comprehensive services. It's almost hard to put in a short spiel. But our senior center, I think they had maybe one of the most miraculous turnarounds from my point of view. The senior center, it was closed, and it was unfortunate because a lot of our seniors, they look forward to getting together and having their activities and playing bingo and doing all those things that they love to do. But our team turned around quickly and got them set up and trained on how to use Zoom. They got iPads. I was talking recently to someone in our program, and she was telling us, "Oh no, I can log on the Zoom. I got it. They trained us." So, even thinking health-wise, I mean, it definitely ties into our medical services at our main location at 71 O Street. They kicked in gear too. They got kiosks set up. They were doing virtual telehealth visits. It was absolutely amazing. And when it comes to the emergency housing for seniors, that was still available. We still made all of those things available. Some does not shut down. On a regular day, we say we're there 365 days of the year. No excuses. And that continued. There was not a day that we didn't give our clients the support that they need. We're always on a mission to uplift and help and support however we can do it. And we weren't going to let the pandemic stop us from doing that.
Oh, awesome. Well, it sounds like some was getting a little sum of everything for those seniors, right? Did they like the signing in and all of that with the Zoom?
We had a whole bunch of activities. We had cooking demos, yoga, just chatting time, therapy time. It was absolutely spectacular.
Great. Now, some also reaches out to the unhoused to support them. Mayor Muriel Bowser's Point in Time survey, which was recorded in January of 2021, found that overall homelessness decreased in the city, but chronic homelessness increased. How was that reflected last year, and what trends did you see?
I think that is definitely a problem that we see on a normal basis. A lot of people are struggling with homelessness, and people have different ideas of what homelessness looks like. It's not everyone who is at the tent camps. That's not just everyone who's homeless. there's tons of people who are struggling with homelessness, and it's people that you don't even suspect. I did a special during March talking about hunger and homelessness. And one of the big things I wanted to highlight to people is that college students, they're a huge population of people who are struggling from homelessness. And it doesn't look like it. Sometimes you don't even realize, maybe I'm a young person. Sometimes I don't realize even some of my friends may be homeless, they're couch surfing, and you don't think about it like that. So with people losing jobs, with people losing stability, families losing stability, there's a lot of people who are jumping from house to house and staying with friends, staying with families, with family members. But a lot of people were struggling, and we definitely saw the need increase.
Every new piece of information is requiring us to think through things we've never thought of before. And we're going to keep on doing that and serving our children and youth.
Okay, great. Well, you're doing a fantastic job, and we really thank you for serving the communities here in the DC area.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
And again, thanks for joining us and for all that you do for the community. And to our viewers at home, thank you for tuning in to our two-part special today. For DCTV, I'm Lisa Haynes.